So for me, I'm thinking in a different aspect in terms of developing Gambia. One, it have to start with policies that are reflective to our needs. Two, we need to invest on training because we have the potential as young people. And three, we need to be serious in terms of implementation. This should not be influenced by politics. We need to put politics aside. We have seen Germany, after politics, nobody here about the political parties.
If you had to be chosen as the president of the Gambia today, what will be your first and second, let's say, plan for young people?
I think is to better review some of my economic policies that are going to reflect on the lives and livelihood of Gambians, and of course to invest on young people. Because like I said, 60% of the population are young people. That's a huge potential. I think we need more trainings, serious trainings, not just going to the university or colleges. We have seen in Germany, we've seen an Ausbildung program. These are serious, transformations. Because why Germany? Germany, I think, has a very open policy when it comes to international students, for the fact that when you come here and then you can able to have some hours to work to support yourself and of course to pay some of your expenses, which is very, very important because in the Western world you have to be responsible of your own expenses unless and until you have other opportunities like a whole scholarship package and so. I think coming to Germany has its own challenges as an international student, especially if you're coming from a third world country like Gambia, because you really need to be someone with good high school documents, let's say good grades. And you also need to, Gambia, we focus more on academics. I think some of these European universities also put a lot of consideration on extracurricular activities as well. So those really also help. And some of this young youth work that you do, and then it also helps you in your scores.
Hello, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again on CDSO here in Germany. My name is Sidi Sedikan, and today on our migration perspective, it's a podcast whereby we invite young people, migrants and refugees who are living in Germany, and for them to share their experience and their stories with us. So today we have a young man from the Gambia who's going to share his stories and his experience as a student here in Germany, in Berlin here. So once again, my brother, welcome again on CDSO. Maybe you can introduce yourself.
Many thanks, Sidi, for having me. My name is Alagie, and I'm international student from the Gambia, studying here in Germany as well.
International student from?
Gambia.
From the Gambia?
Yes.
Okay. If you had to describe Gambia, how will you describe Gambia for the people who are watching you?
Gambia is one of the smallest inland country in West Africa, with a population less than 2.5 million people. It's one of its closest neighboring country is Senegal. And so Gambia is also been described as the smiling coast of Africa, based on our humanity in nature and of course how sociable we are. I live in Gambia since 2023. Then I moved to Germany to pursue my educations, and so far it's been good, and so I'm really happy to be in your Diso city.
Thank you so much. Welcome on CDSO. As you can hear from Alagie, like Gambia is known by many Africans as the smiling coast of Africa. So what is special about smiling coast of Africa?
I think, like I said, the humanity nature of people are ready to share whatever little they have, and despite some kind of hurdles or the kind of challenges everyone goes through in life, Gambians are very much comfortable with their own challenges, and they are ready to share. They are always smiling and very peaceful in nature.
Really?
Yeah, and I think they have one of the best local delicacies in the sub-Saharan Africa, like Benachin, the Domoda, the Super Kanja, and the Yassa.
What is your favorite?
Super Kanja is my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yes, and if there is any close option, it's Benachin.
Oh yeah, Benachin, eh?
Yeah, of course.
But that's also known in Senegal, guys, huh?
Yes, but I think,
which one is best?
Of recent, Gambia won the jollof rice competition, of course.
Oh, really?
Of course, CD, of course. So jollof rice, Benachin is the best. Gambian Benachin.
Between Senegal and Ghana and Nigeria?
Of course, yeah. We are special when it comes to jollof rice.
Amazing.
Yeah, so
if you want to try the best jollof rice, I think, then
Yes.
Alagie, just disclose it.
Come to Gambia.
Come to Gambia. The smiling coast of Africa.
Of course, yeah.
Let's say, Alagie, first of all, tell us a little bit about you. Who Alagie is, what have you been doing in the Gambia? And we know that just give us a bit, something about yourself.
Okay, Alagie is a passionate youth development specialist. For the past 5 years or so, I've been engaging into youth development in the Gambia. My recent project I was involved in was the economic inclusion of return migrants and potential ones in the Gambia and Ghana. This project was funded by the Sparkassen Stiftung. The project was implemented by the Sparkassen Stiftung International Corporations, and but the project itself is being funded by the BMZ. What we've done in this project is to help young people in terms of integrations, but our main focus was on providing trainings, business trainings and entrepreneurship business trainings. And of course, we also partner with financial institutions like the credit unions per se in Gambia to provide what we call startup capitals for these young these return migrants in the Gambia. And we've done so much work in that area. A lot of young people were trained and then were supported in terms of the capital seed support from the various affiliated credit unions in the Gambia. And before that, I was also into youth development work. I was one of the, I initiated a youth mentorship program called the Drammeh's Mentorship and Leadership Academy, where dozens of young people have been trained on career guidance, youth development, soft skills, communication, and leadership as well. And then today, I'm happy to say most of those young people have been very productive in various economic aspects of the country. So I was a teacher as well. I've taught for so many years, both in the primary and the high school category. And then, yeah, like I said, I have more into grassroots development. And here I am in Germany pursuing my education, and then of course looking forward my masters in 2026. And then right now I'm also engaged in a lot of Erasmus program to better develop myself in order to build some very good career prospect for myself in the future.
Incredible. Very inspiring, to be honest with you. Wow. The reason why I brought you here, because I want to have a deep conversation with you concerning to Gambian students coming to Germany to study, but at the same time, they might have obstacles and hurdles that they face. And in your own experience, I would have loved to have that conversation with you so that we know what are the obstacles that Gambian students are facing here, and what are the things that they could do to a better easy their ways here in Germany. But nonetheless, let's just talk about, you have been doing so many inspiring work in the Gambia. What inspired you to do this? What was the inspiration behind?
I think as every young person, we all ought to do something that we are expected to do in our community, in our various levels. I ought to choose this field because I think I have a role to play in my community development and of course the national development in general. So for me, it's a passion, it's an intrinsic passion in me that I have built since I was young. I like volunteering. I like to support people, especially the vulnerable groups within us. And this has been in me for so long. And that's why since I was young, I try to share my little resources to support people, to see people happy, to see people chasing their dreams. I think this is what really motivated me to do what I have done so far. And I look forward to do more than that city. Like I said, Gambia is one of the smallest inland country, and of course we have a lot of economic challenges. So of course we need to really mobilize ourselves in terms of human resources, and then to able to provide some of the solution to our daily lives, to our contemporary issues. And this cannot be done if young people are not in the center stage to move or to be the architect of the destiny of the country.
100%. I want to ask you, let's rewind back. Alagie, you did your bachelor in the Gambia. What did you study?
I studied my associate degree in education. I was at the teacher training college in the Gambia, and then fast forward, I started my first degree also in the University of the Gambia, but I was not able to complete it after getting this opportunity to come to study in Germany. And due to some of the opportunities that I've seen in Germany, I was fast I try to transit to Germany to continue with my studies. Yes, about with the education in Gambia is okay, but it's also important for a young person to be exposed at the international level, and then of course to better equip yourself with some of the experience as well.
I think it's important too.
Yeah.
But we've seen that Gambia have now a very new and modern university called what is the name of the university? I guess is it how will I call it?
The campus in Faraba.
The campus in Faraba University, right?
Yes.
What is your take on that university?
I think one have to commend the government to come up with such an infrastructure, but I think it started since the time of Drammeh, and education is very important in the society, especially when it comes to the general transformation of the citizenry. Without knowledge, development, knowledge is the foundation, is the main requisite for development. So without a knowledge-driven society, the development cannot be sustainable. So that's why I applaud the government not just to build the structures, but of course let them also invest in terms of the quality. Let them also invest in the output, not just to build the structures, and then people say yes, they've built a kind of an edifice building or a state-of-art building or stuff, but let them also invest in the quality for better output. I think that is really important as well.
Amazing. You have been working with, like you said, with let's say returnees in the Gambia. You mentored young people in the Gambia. Maybe describe 3 or 4 things you think that Gambia need to look into when it comes to young people, and what are the things that we should work on when it comes to work with young people in the Gambia?
I think Gambia has a very high potential, because looking at our population, based on statistics, over 60% of our population are young people. So that's a huge potential for every country.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have leveraged that potential to really develop ourselves, even without relying on the donors and stuff. We have seen of recent the donors fatigue and some of the cuts that are happening, like in the United States, Donald Trump with its various political policies and stuff. So it is important, like young people are very integral in terms of development and stuff. So coming back to your question, of course, like I said, the young people must be supported, must be inspired, must be encouraged, must be guided, of course, in terms of exploring some of those potentials, because Gambian young people are amazing, CD. I have worked with a lot of young people. You will be surprised the kind of talents that they have, but the problem is we didn't really have the support, especially from the government, and of course looking at the resources and the infrastructure, is also lacking. So I think this is why most of the young people really attempt to go, through irregular migrations. Sometimes it is not their wish, but it's a matter of fact that really things are not well in the Gambia. So as a result, they have to really find out a way out for their survival.
If you had to be chosen as the president of the Gambia today, what would be your first and second, let's say, plan for young people?
I think is to better review some of my economic policies that are going to reflect on the lives and livelihood of Gambians, and of course to invest on young people. Because like I said, 60% of the population are young people. That's a huge potential. I think we need more trainings, serious trainings, not just going to the university or colleges. We have seen in Germany, we've seen an Ausbildung program. These are serious, transformations.
Yeah.
These are, because skills is very, very important. In fact, it's integral in any national development. We cannot all be sitting in the office and dealing with policies. Those are in terms of during the colonial periods when Gambia get in their independence. Then we need some kind of political scientists and stuff. But of recent time, all we need is skilled workers, people that are really skilled, people that are into technology, people that can innovate and stuff, because those are some of the things we have been confronted in our daily basis. So invest on young people, of course, build the right infrastructure, build the right trainings, provide right training for young people, and you can see the change. People will take the initiative of changing their own lives.
Amazing. We have seen that young people are still finding ways, to take the illegal route, like you just disclosed. And there's possibility that many people are still finding ways when they have the possibility. You being a mentor at the same time, being someone who have been working with young people, hundreds of young people in the Gambia, still, and you now experience, you have your own experience in Germany. You've seen migrants and refugees from Gambia who are basically living here. What would you have to say about that thing? I mean, after your experience in Germany and in the Gambia?
I think our government really need to be very serious in terms of dealing with young people. City, we've been in, Germany better than I, but the little time that I spent here, I was so much concerned about what kind of tools they use, and then in terms of their development processes. However, like I said, in the Gambia, we have a big problem because the huge number of population are young people. So if these people are not engaged, if they are not given a meaningful tools to develop themselves, obviously, we're really going to continue in this problem. And of recent, we have seen the move the government has embarked on with the memorandum of understanding with Spain. Really, that baffles me.
It's not just only Spain, or Saudi Arabia too.
Exactly, in Saudi Arabia, that really baffles me. See, how can a government like Gambia could go into such an agreement? How can you export raw talents?
You said you're fighting against slavery.
Exactly.
And now you're doing something that
I mean, this is slavery in 21st century. It's not by physical involvement. It's more of like intellectual provisions that they bring out. I mean, Gambia could have really used these young people to stay in the Gambia, equip them with right skills, give them good money, good salaries, and then the country will move. But now we are like, what we experience of recent is what we called a mass intellectual exodus, meaning we're exporting talents, manpower, everything. And in the long run, where do you see Gambia? Where do you see Gambia? Of recent, we have seen the migrant statistics, how it affects Gambia. The communities, as we speak, if you go to the villages, are empty. They're suffering. It's only the old people who cannot able to lead some of those community initiatives. You come to the urban areas, you've seen the increase in crime rates as a result of, young people not being employed. And they've been idling, of course. An idle man is a devil workshop. So, such a country going through such a processes, and then we see the government put a lot of political interest in these MOUs. So I'm really shocked. So I think what is really, really more sustainable is the government need to be very serious in investing in young people, not just by political statements. This has to be with a real serious issues. Transform the Gambia College, the GTTI, the university, make sure young people are given the right tools to become the architect of that country. We all look forward to see a better government that will be responsive to the needs of young people in the Gambia. I think we need to be more serious, Siri.
About this?
Of course, yeah.
Gambia, we need to be very, very serious. I think all what you said, I'm very happy that you disclosed it like that, because this is exactly how I'm thinking. And I think yesterday we have seen a video, they commented about Wadamaya when he went to South Africa. We have seen these white people who are just coming, they want to build their own country. But looking at that, they just don't say, okay, we are educated people, we have to send our people to university in there. They start from, grassroots, agriculture. But you can see Gambia, we have space, we have, you know what I mean? But why are we not investing in such areas? What do you think about that? Because even yesterday, you were commenting about such issues.
See, when I was in Gambia, I've traveled a lot. Almost I have traveled the length and the breadth of the country. So I have seen when the enormous potentials in the agricultural sector, looking at from Kauru down, these are places with fresh water, with fertile land. I think the government has the power, they have the implements, they have the tools. They're able to use that as an opportunity to transform our agriculture.
Why are they not investing?
Yes, I mean, I think it's lack of planning, proper planning, and, good policies in place. Because, see, go to the Gambia College, the number of agricultural students graduating. How many of those young people have been employed? Genuinely employed with a better wages at the end of the day? None of them, So that tells you how unserious we are. You come to Germany, look at an Ausbildung program. That is just more or less like Gambia College 3 years.
Yeah, clear.
Once you have done that, you are meaningfully engaged.
You are more respected than someone who have his bachelor.
But mind you, the quality in terms of training that you undergo. So this is where policies have to be based on trainings, and then from there the transition into a labor market must also be smooth. There must be a ready available market in terms of utilizing those potentials. And then there we go. We have the support from our bilateral partners like China and so get the medicines. Gambia have no security threats, external security threats. I mean, we might have some internal security, but external security threats are very minimal. What are our soldiers doing in our campus? What are the police doing? Of course, the police have, okay, let me say that, but at least we have some manpower when it comes to our security sector to be even engaged into agriculture, because these are disciplined units that can able to implement policies at a very fast pace. So for me, I'm thinking in a different aspect in terms of developing Gambia. One, it have to start with policies that are reflective to our needs. Two, we need to invest on training because we have the potential as young people. And three, we need to be serious in terms of implementation. This should not be influenced by politics. We need to put politics aside. We have seen Germany, after politics, nobody here about the political parties.
This is crazy. This is the second day.
These are serious countries. These are serious countries with serious agendas. And then we've seen how they have been sustainable in terms of development, from one innovation to another, from one thing to another. This is how a country moves, not about political discourse. Today you go to Gambia, all the agendas, go to the markets, go to our votes, go to everywhere, it's all about politics.
Even our money as a country is used for politics.
That is the problem.
Like, you can imagine somebody uses campaign money from our own money.
The problem.
Like, this is unbelievable, because you won't never try this in
course,
Europe.
Of course.
If you want to be a good political, let's say party, you need to find your own fundings. But anyway, like I said, you are now here. You have your experience. We have seen that students. There are so many Gambian students here now. What would you say is one of the advantages of students from Gambia, or let's say generally students having in Germany, but also what are the disadvantages you people are facing here?
I think coming to Germany has its own challenges as an international student, especially if you're coming from a third world country like Gambia, because you really need to be someone with good high school documents, let's say good grades. And you also need to, Gambia, we focus more on academics. I think some of these European universities also put a lot of consideration on extracurricular activities as well. So those really also help. And some of this young youth work that you do, and then it also helps you in your skills. However, when it comes to logistics, let's say in the visa application and stuff, Germany has what we call a block account. And every year this thing is increasing exponentially. And then not many students in the Gambia who would like to come to study in Germany can able to afford this, because these are at a very high amount looking at the Gambian economy. However, students that can afford obviously may find it very easy to come and study in Germany. Why Germany? Germany, I think, has a very open policy when it comes to international students, for the fact that when you come here and then you can able to have some hours to work to support yourself, and of course to pay some of your expenses, which is very, very important, because in the Western world you have to be responsible of your own expenses, unless and until you have other opportunities like a whole scholarship package and so. So block account is very, very key in terms of coming to Germany. You must really provide a block account. That is a very, very critical and important prerequisite for your visa applications. And getting the right schools is also important, because sometimes, in Germany you have a public university and we have a private university. Private university, you have to pay a specific tuition fee in a year, or perhaps on an installment basis. For public universities, it's almost free. All what you pay is like a semester fee in every semester. Which is like a range of 200 to 400 euro per semester. So one have to look at in those areas as well. Of course, German, as you all know, are also looking for skilled workers. So if you have a skill attached to some of these qualifications that I'm talking about, I think German is a country that you can able to come and study. And likewise, for example, where I am in Berlin, it's a multicultural, how to call it, city. So it's important for you to have that international exposure, and then broaden your network and get to learn from other cultures as well.
Thank you so much. I really like to ask this question again. Something that concerns me about Gambian students: when they come to Germany, they likely have more privileges, of course, but they tend to forget that they have a privilege, and but this privilege, because they have the opportunity to study their masters in English. But when I've seen that many people have this issue problem. After their studies, they likely want to stay here and work, but they find themselves in a very difficult situation because they didn't even try to learn the language. In order for them, after their studies, they can have option B to decide if they would like to stay and work here or to go back to Gambia. We have seen how the situation in the Gambia is, and many of the students really want to stay where they studies because they cannot afford to go back to Gambia. But now, and do you find yourself in this situation? Have you found any student from where you're studying, as Gambian, in this situation?
Yes, of course. I think integration in Germany is very, very important.
It's key, yeah?
And they put a lot of emphasis in their language. Du musst sprechen Deutsch if you want to live in Germany. So, I mean, like what I did is like when I was enrolled at the university, the next thing that I think of is the language, because many people that lives here will tell you how important language is when it comes to integration. If you want to stay in Germany, if you want to work in Germany, I think language is very, very key. I've seen some students, of course, a very close friend of mine who has just finished his master's, he's still struggling to get a job because of the language problems. And this guy has a very good master's degree. If he speaks the language, I know he's going to be really have a very good job in Germany. But language has become a barrier, and then he cannot still get a job. And then he has let's say 18 months for job seeking visa, and if he cannot secure, he has to find his way out. So, I mean, before you get into that, it's better when you come and then you start the language processes. Like, for me, right now, I'm doing my RSY, so hoping to finish my B1 before I finish my studies. So
Good
that's
idea.
how I plan myself, yeah.
Good plan.
Yes.
Smart migration. When we say smart migration, this is the sense behind. We believe if you are to migrate, you have to plan.
Yeah.
Plan in a sense that you will not have find yourself in a situation where you cannot get out of it. You understand?
Yeah.
So I think this is one thing I want to advise Gambian students who are coming to Germany. Now, I know that you have privilege, but you want to at least see yourself in that level. German people, we want for you guys. So finally, what do you want to say for your last word?
Okay, one thing I want to mention also is that we also have an association of Gambian students here in
your
Germany.
engagement. Sorry, yeah.
Yes, so if there is any international student that is watching this and you want to reach out to us, of course, our doors are open. And then our numbers will be shared to City and we can reach out to us. We are developing a community here as Gambian students. And in this, we are working on a lot of things. Even this language course issue is something that we have discussed because some of the Gambian students here can able to facilitate some of the online classes for especially the new ones that are coming. And of course, in terms of integration, we also have some Gambian students here who have experience in that. But hey, you have to follow this man as well to watch most of his videos on integration programs here in Germany. He has an expertise in terms of integration in Germany. I think CD really influenced me and he's really amazing. Follow his group, follow his page, and then you'll get inspired and then you'll able to in fact understand integration, migration perspective more in Germany than from anywhere. Thank you, CD.
Thank you so much, Chef. Thank you so much.
Sembetela yama sembetela so pullo jer jalin sembetela Sembetela yama sembetela so pullo jer jalin sembetela Banda kunsa yilla diada yama so pullo wanala ya ami Banda kunsa yilla diada yama so pullo wanala ya ami Yama ala fason kondeni Kamara koli mara koli bijini sonko ni wagani sonko Lamini Sonko la seri Mama Dindi Obama Nafiba ma Yama Baratanye Turalu Nila Jado Bitala Dortmund Yama so Mama so manan Na jana baso dima Na bambike bedima Baba karila bedima Yama